culture, the home or the house, that space is central to family and the passing on of traditional knowledge. It's a place where we learn about our role in this world. I think this is one of the things that visitors to Mesa Verde, really any indigenous site like this, should understand is the value and the sacredness of land.
Our communities are diverse, but we share a reverence for our ancestral lands and the knowledge that has been passed down through the generations. Madeline Naranjo was born in Santa Clara Pueblo, New Mexico. She comes from generations of potters.
My favorite. We don't have a recipe that's written down. We don't have a recipe on how to mix clay. The songs, they're not written down. So everything is either heard or it's seen, and that's how you learn. We go to the past to keep some of those traditions still alive. My grandmother, she was a potter. She would give all of us kids little pieces of clay, and she'd say, here, make something. It was probably already within me to do this, to follow the path. Push some of this clay, but it was a lot of it was watching her. We do know and recognize Mesa Verde as one of our ancestral sites. That's where our people came from. And as they migrated down, they carried that knowledge of potting with them, that knowledge of the clay.
Pottery was used every day and was an important trade item that connected our ancestors to the larger world. Native artists still use designs from ancestral pottery and rock art.
You would see the bear paw. You would also see kiva steps. Those are things that I've seen.
The water serpent is common in Santa Clara pottery.
The serpent represents water, and water is very important being out here in the Southwest.
Water from summer monsoons and winter snow seeps through the rock, forming alcoves and springs. The ancestors stored water in pottery, gourds, and tightly woven baskets. They learned to grow crops in this arid landscape, building dams and reservoirs to collect water. Mesa Verde was a relatively good place to farm. The mesa top is angled to the south, so it receives more rain and direct sunlight. It also catches rich wind-blown soil that blows in from the southwest.
Our ancestors were provided with guidance about understanding and respecting the natural landscape, the land, the water, all of the plant life and animal life.
The ancestors hunted deer, bighorn sheep, and small game. They raised turkeys and grew corn, squash and beans, and gathered wild plants, including rice grass, berries, and potatoes. The land provided what they needed. Extensive trade networks brought other goods including cotton, salt, obsidian, feathers, shells, and turquoise. Our ancestors left us with a deep understanding and respect for the land. Our life ways and beliefs are centered on relationships to each other, to the environment, to plants and animals. It's a cycle of reciprocity.
Our connection to our past still forms our identity as Pueblo people. We're fighting to keep this tradition part alive, but having to evolve to survive in the 21st century. I have to get an education, I have to know how to drive a car, I have to know how to use a computer in order to function in this other world. So we're walking in two worlds.
Archaeological evidence shows that our ancestors adapted to drought, population growth, and other environmental and social change. But near the end of the 1200s, they began to migrate from this area. People stayed at Mesa Verde longer than many of the surrounding communities, but over time they moved from here too.
That was a crucial time in the migration of our people, where many things had to occur at this place before our people, our ancestors, could move on.
This wasn't a break in history, but part of it. Tribal community members and archaeologists believe extended drought, diminishing resources, and social upheaval may have contributed to the ancestors' decision to go. Our oral traditions teach that the ancestors learned what they needed here, and it was time for the next step in their journey. Mesa Verde is a story of people in an ongoing relationship with the landscape. It's not about a people who were lost. It's about presence, not absence, and the cultural continuity that links past and present. Migration is part of that, but it is not the end of the story.
We still practice the same traditions that we had back then. The languages may have changed, but we still have that heart that was there then within us now.
Today, park visitors from all over the world find their own connections to this place. Mesa Verde National Park, preserved for all people to experience. For us, it is a sacred place. We hope you visit with respect, reverence, and wonder.
Mesa Verde, or Kashkasht in our language, is a part of us today. We recall that every day through prayer, and we go back to those places in prayer every day.
We may have traveled hundreds of miles away from Mesa Verde, but we're still here. Kwa we ma omike.
Magumi kani ma isa
Kashkasht.
Esoka in Pulla.
tao kani mugu kani